too much of a lover of music to do that to the string, but I'll definitely miss it.
I had it. Play the song I want to.
Music one day. It's like they were in music before. Just like those days when all of the kids just
Peace for all people in wholeness and in love.
like they were just like quarter turns and be like whatever it'll be. But it was like and I'm like and it took me long enough to figure out what was happening to stop it. And so it was like, alright, well, guess this is what's happening now.
All right, shall we start? You guys ready or no? The food. Is that how? And then yeah, everybody has to. Tom, I'll give you the. I think we should start.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Oh, is she singing this one?
Yeah, she's gonna sing that.
Got it.
Ranena, Adonai Maria, Litzur Yishenu, Litzur Yishenu, Lechu Neranena, Adonai Maria, Litzur Yishenu, Litzur Yishenu, Nekat Mavana, Vitoda, Bizmirot Nari Alo, Nekat Mavana. Mavana, Bitoda, Bizmirot Nari Alo, Nekat Mavana, Bitoda, Bizmirot Nari Alo.
Absolutely beautiful. Welcome everybody. Shabbat Shalom. So nice to see you and thank you for being here. And a particular thank you to Tom and Chris and Lou, who represent the majority, but not the totality, of our group of musicians that play on Shabbat Zimra, which is, Zimra means music. And here, I'll even help you out a little bit. think about this. So clay or kalim are instruments, and Zimra music. And if you take clay and Zimra and you smush them together, boom, klezmer. So this is our Shabbat klezmer, or Shabbat Zimra, and we are so happy to, it's always fun. I mean, having the musicians here just raises the level here a lot. So I'm glad that you're here, and I'm also so thrilled to see Amelia here, as she's going to be at bat mitzvah tomorrow morning at our service. And wow, it's a special weekend for you, special weekend for us, and we want to officially begin our service with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. You can find it on page 120 in your Siddur. And I would like to invite forward Amelia and her parents and her siblings to join us here for the blessing of lighting the Shabbat candles. All right. So, you ready to do this? We're on page 120. Actually, 121 first.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all those who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of generations of Israel who have kindled light, so we may in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Here's your chance. If you struggle, don't worry. Get closer, remember, don't forget to light the farther one first. You got, ooh, nice. You practiced. Perfect, I think you got it. Got that one. Good, blow it out.
Baruch
Sensational.
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Nice, and we're on page 123 now as we continue with Kiddush. So wait, hold on. All right, we're going to do the first line up there. You ready? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Don't drink yet. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher letziyat mihitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. You can take a sip or pretend sip, whatever you want. I'll take that back. I'll see you back up here in an hour or so. so our service continues with Yismechu Hashamayim, page 131.
Yamamai, mamai, yamamai, mamai, yamamai, mamai, 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 yamamai, mamai, yamamai, mamai, yamamai, mamai, mamai. ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירם הים ומלוא ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירם הים ומלוא Yamamai, mamai, yamamai, mamai, yamamai, mamai, 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 yamamai, mamai, yamamai, mamai, yamamai, mamai, mamai, yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz, yiram hayam, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירם הים ומלוא ימממי ממי ימממי ממי ימממי מממי מממי ממי ימממי ממי ימממי ממי ימממי מממי ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירם הים ומלוא.
And perhaps the anchor of Kabbalat Shabbat, I'll keep saying that because it's so funny. The anchor of Kabbalat Shabbat, Lecha Dodi, is on page 138. And if you are not a regular to our sanctuary, then you are probably, then you might not know that we do verse 1, 2, 5, and 9. And for those of you who find it to be a bit awkward, you do know our traditions. But what you don't know is exactly when you're supposed to turn and when you're supposed to turn back. Let me tell you. So on the 9th verse, you face the entrance. Now, after the 9th verse is finished, even as we are going back to the chorus, that's when you can turn back again. So just for that verse, face back, and then you turn back around. So I'm just doing that because I can, from here, from this vantage point, I always see all the people who are confused whether they should turn back or not, or is looking over their shoulder, they don't know. So that's it. During the verse part, you face chorus, turn back. Lecha Dodi is on page 138, again, verse 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם ניסוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי באורך ומאורי אורי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה
Please rise, face the entrance.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי כלה בואי כלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה.
Nice job. We are on, you shouldn't sit because we're standing here still. That's why I didn't have you sit back down again. We're doing the Baruch Hu. It's our call to worship, page 146.
Yamamai mai dai yada dai 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 Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed Le'olam va'ed Yada dai 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 yada dai dai
We are on page 149. Please join me. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Ma'ariv Aravim.
Amen.
152.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Shema ערשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
It's become, and I understand that for some people, this reading on page 157 has the capacity to be a little depressing, and to some degree it is. But it's also been a very meaningful reading for me personally, as we as Jews have kind of meandered our way through some very difficult and troubling times over the last year and a half. And we've realized that through this walk through the wilderness that we've been metaphorically walking, that it has been a whole lot easier when we've been doing it together. And so join me, 157, standing on the parted shores of history. We still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place and a promised land, and that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Micha Mochaz, the next page, 158. have, like so many different faiths, we too have a prayer that we like to say at night. That, you know, it's the equivalent for us of getting on our knees with our elbows on the bedside and praying our nightly prayers. But this one is Jewish, and this one is about giving us peace and waking us up the next morning renewed, rejuvenated, ready to face the day. It's called Hashkivenu. It's on page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Behamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us with wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Behamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, from sorrow and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Behamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Lechaim, lechaim.
From Peace to Shabbat, this special, unique song and prayer for Shabbat comes from the Torah. It's called Vishamru, and it's on page 162.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam, berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam, berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam, berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam, berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam, berit את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם.
I was like so into it that I didn't get up fast enough. Our service continues now with the tefillah, which is the essence or the core of our service. It can be found on 164, beginning with Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, and then it goes on to 166, 168, and 170. Would everyone please rise.
Adonai sifatai tiftach, ufi hagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai, dai. 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 Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VaNorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. 177 at the bottom of the page. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, atov shimcha uchana'eh lehodot. So in a moment, we are going to continue with Avinu Shebashamayim on page 377. And this is a prayer for the state of Israel. And it is, it's every week, every day, every week is important, powerful in what's going on in the Jewish community and in Israel too. This week we got some great news and also some disturbing news along the way. The great news comes with disturbing news. It's a twofer because we learned of the soon-to-be release tomorrow, hopefully in the morning, our time, of Ofer Calderon, who is the cousin of Tracy Greenberg, our former educator's, one of her best friends. And we're so excited about Ofer Calderon returning to his family. And we also got the news that Keith Siegel, who, if you joined me on our Israel trip this summer, then we met with Keith's brother, Lee Siegel, and he told us about Keith and about Keith growing up. And Keith grew up in North Carolina and was in he's a Reform Jew and youth group and stuff like that. And we're so thankful that Keith is coming home. And finally, we got the news that Yarden Bibas is coming home. Yarden is the father of the Bibas family. And that's, of course, great news, but that's the part which comes with a measure of sadness. Because if Yarden is coming home, but his wife and 2 children are not coming home, I wonder why. And I'm not going to tell you what is the case. I'm only just aware that that causes me pain. And so we knew that these weeks, these 6 weeks of hostage return, and trading for prisoners, we knew it was going to be a mixed bag of emotions, joy and tears at the same time, and for sure that is the case. So with joy, we welcome 3 special people home. With sadness, we wonder about why Yarden Bibas is coming home before his 2 children and wife. Nonetheless, Avinu Shebashamayim, page 377. And by the way, of course, note that prior to our Shabbat service, I lit these 2 candles for those hostages. The ribbon, obviously, on one side on your left. The other one just says, "Bring them home," if you can't see from this distance. So, Avinu Shebashamayim, 377.
Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo. Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo. Barech, barech et medinat Yisrael, Reshit tzmichat yulatenu, Hagen aleha mevrat chasdecha, uferos aleha שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו, ושלח אורך ועמיתך לראשיה, שריה ויועציה, ותקנם מעצה טובה מלפניך, ותקנם בעצה טובה מלפניך. אבינו, אבינו, שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו, אבינו, אבינו, שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו, ונאמר, ונאמר, אמן.
From a prayer for Israel to a prayer for peace, they seem to go hand in hand. Shalom Rav is on page 178.
That's fine.
Shalom Rav.
We went with it. We went with it.
Went with it.
Yeah. Okay.
I knew that was going to happen when he tuned down. I was like,
It's probably because I sang that earlier.
No, it's all good. I mean, whatever it is, it's like it's a piece.
handle
Yeah. Okay.
Make of us a house for all people. Gather us in hope for all people. Surround us in peace for all people, in wholeness and in love.
English right there.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך בשלומך make of us a house for all people gather us in hope for all people surround us in peace for all people in wholeness and in love make of us a house for all people gather us in hope for all people surround us in peace for all people in wholeness and in love shalom rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam shalom rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam tasim leolam tasim leolam baruch atah Adonai hamevarech et amo Yisrael bashalom.
Please feel free to put your prayer books away for the time being as we do what is my favorite part of the service when we share the joys that are going through our lives and the struggles. Also, well, that's less of a thing which makes me happy, but at the same time, I take pleasure in being able to be there with the rest of us as a community. So, but we always start with joy. Most of you have been here, at least seen this once or twice, and so if you've experienced joy at least somewhat recently and like to share it, then I invite you to do so. And from time to time, we're going to sing, can you hear, can you hear, can you hear, can you hear? That just means, may it be. So, if you have joy, raise your hand. Tell us about your joy. Yes. Yep. Yep. Congratulations. I'm glad that you're here. It's amazing. It's amazing recovery. Yes, Dean, you can go next. All your friends have recovered from the flu?
Yes, Cisco, 3 of them.
And what about you?
Thank God I haven't been sick.
Give it time. Yes. Wait a minute. Oh, I see. I understand. Your grandparents are coming. They're bringing their dog. And since the dog is officially their child, their favorite child, that must mean that that dog is your uncle, but the uncle is younger than you are. I get it. I completely understand. When are they coming? When are they coming? Tomorrow. You didn't give us enough time to prepare. I hope you have a great time with your grandparents and your uncle. You know, and you can probably order your uncle around if you need to. Maybe. If it was a cat, you wouldn't be able to. Yes.
Today at my school was dress down day.
Today at your school was dress down day? What does that mean to dress down?
Oh, that means she's wearing clothes you wear like this.
That's dressing down, for sure. That's your wicked sweatshirt. Can I borrow it? No. You sure? Because we're having dress down day here at the temple too.
Right now.
All right. So join me, dress down day, and grandparents and uncles who are younger than you are, and hips that are better, and friends that are better from the flu. Join me. Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Yes, Martin?
My great-grandmother had a mass removed from her eye, and it was benign.
mean, right, a cone of shame for a normal-sized dog is huge. Is it proportionally bigger for?
It's huge and it's really hard.
It's like a satellite dish. You walk around. Oh my God. Well, I hope, I'm glad to hear that the tumor is benign, no doubt about it. More joy. Yes.
Celebrating our first mitzvah tomorrow.
Wow. Really, who is it? Oh. Awesome. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. More joy? Yes, you again. Principal's honor roll. Woohoo! Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Anybody else? Jonathan.
Our daughter Lizzie today told us that she got an internship this summer
Ooh.
working at a law firm in D.C. in their recruiting department. We had nothing to do with it. She got it all by herself. And we're just relieved that she will not be a total drain on us.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I completely understand that. That is mazel tov for real. Like, that's like the first step to being utterly independent. More joy? That's huge joy. No one's going to be able to outdo that one, but anybody else? No, I'm not giving, you don't get 3 joys. It's too joyous for you. Any joy back here? No?
Much joy, but we're just being silly.
You're just
The joy that's already been shared.
Yeah.
Just having joy, just general joy. Baruch atah Adonai, gomel chasadim tovim. We praise you, Adonai our God, for partnering with us in the many joys that are in our lives. Amen. Along with the joy, of course, is the sadness, the difficulty, the struggle. Loved ones of ours don't have a sense of wholeness. We just sang Shalom Rav. If you haven't heard me say this before, it's important. Shalom means hello, goodbye, peace. Yes, yes, yes. But it really means way more than that. Shalom is the presence of wholeness. That's what shalom means. So when you say peace, what you're really saying is you're feeling whole. And so it comes from the Hebrew word shalem, which means whole or complete. And so, it's not coincidental that right after a song about wholeness, we also talk about people who don't have that sense of wholeness. And so if you are struggling yourself, or if you have a loved one who's struggling, and that could be in the form of physical struggle or emotional struggle, we have a blessing we say called Misha Berach. And our tradition is I will start this blessing, and then halfway through, I'm just going to start gazing around the room, and when my eye meets yours or close to yours, and if you'd like to share the name of a person who is in need of healing. Again, that healing can be physical or emotional, and you could say a name in Hebrew or English or not at all, obviously. So the blessing begins this way: Misha Berach, Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, v'imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. Those words mean, may the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, hu yivarech v'yirapet kol hacholim shelanu. May God bless and heal all of our loved ones who are in need of healing, especially the ones whom we name at this time. And so I'll look around, and if my eye meets yours and you wish to share someone's name for healing, please feel free to do so.
Rita Kelly, Greg Rogers, Libby Hunter, Brent Hare.
I'd just like to add Allison Herman and Meravatara. Vishlach lehem bimheira refuah shalema. May God send them speedily a complete recovery. Refuah nefesh, refuah guf, for healing of body and healing of spirit. B'toch sha'ar cholei Yisrael, amongst all who are in need of healing. V'nomar amen. So we're on page 371. This is Misha Berach, if you'd like to follow along.
Misheberach avotenu mikor habracha li'imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We pause now for a moment of silence.
Ratzon imrefi ve'yon libi lefanecha. Yihiu leratzon imrefi ve'yon libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri ve'goali. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri ve'goali.
So Amelia could tell you this better than I can. She knows this Torah portion way better than I do. However, I can tell you some simple things, like this week's Torah portion is called Bo. Did I get that correct? Nice. Whew. That would have been embarrassing. First sentence. Got it. So Bo, you probably are familiar with the story of Bo, and the reason why is because you talk about this story every single year, right? It's the plagues. It's the story of how our people are in slavery, and Moses is called by God to confront Pharaoh and say, let my people go so they can worship me. And Pharaoh does not want to let the Israelites go for obvious reasons. That obvious reason is it's pretty cheap labor. Now, And so what happens? It happens over and over again. The pattern is the same. God says to Moses, tell Pharaoh to let my people go, and if he doesn't, I'm going to bring forth a plague. Moses goes to Pharaoh, let my people go. Pharaoh says no. Plague comes, devastates Egypt, and then Pharaoh says, please, 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 take the plague away, and then, and I'll be different, I'll change. And Moses goes and pleads before God. This happens 9 times. Moses goes, pleads before God, the plague is removed, and then Pharaoh's heart is hardened. He doesn't change as he says he was going to, and another plague comes. And we know these plagues because every single year you dip your finger into your glass of wine or juice and you put it on the plate, unless, of course, you come from Russia. That's the Polish way of doing it, is to dip your pinky finger in the wine. But from Russia, they took a spoon, and they would, or Germany too, spoon, because they didn't want to make a mess. This is true. Now, now here's the thing. Believe it or not, though we read about this now, it's not Passover. I think you guys probably knew that. But people like to think this is kind of Passover-ish because we're telling the story. And actually, it turns out there's 2 Passovers. There's the one that we know, which comes in the month of Nisan. And then my favorite little loophole for Judaism is, in case you were not able to observe Passover at its proper time, a month later you have an opportunity to observe it once again for 1 solid day. That's my way. I like to do Passover just for a single day a month later. Actually, believe it or not, one time in my life I actually did do this because our family was on a trip, and it was very complicated to observe Passover, and so we made a deal that we were going to do Pesach Sheni. Now, here's the thing which I find to be very interesting about this Torah portion, right? 10 plagues, 9 times Moses comes, says, I'm going to let the people go, and 9 times the Israelites got their hopes up, only to be disappointed. 9 times. I mean, I would have thought, and I've said this, by the way, in our text study a lot, I would have thought that after blood, all the water turning to blood, especially in the middle of a desert, I thought that that probably would have been the thing that put everybody over the edge, but it didn't. It wasn't blood in the water, and it wasn't frogs, nor was it lice, nor was it insects. Boils, hail, didn't do the trick. Locusts, darkness, which that one has got to be the lamest plague of all of the plagues. Right? Why was darkness so bad? Believe it or not, our tradition answers that question, but I'm not going to tell you because I might describe that a little bit tomorrow, and I don't want to say the same thing twice when I talk about that with Amelia. However, darkness is the 9th plague, and then finally the last one, as you know, which is the death of the firstborn Egyptian. Okay. So 9 times that the Israelites or the Hebrew slaves were given the sense that they were going to go free, and 9 times it didn't happen. So what the real miracle of these plagues is that after 9 disappointments, that the Israelites still had it within them to believe that it was going to be the case on the 10th. Not only did they believe, but they were told to do something. It wasn't just sit back and trust us, this is going to be bad for Egypt. It was get up, slaughter a lamb, take its blood, paint it on your doorpost, so that way we know to pass over your house. Remarkable that after 9 disappointments, not only did the Israelites believe that it was possible liberation could come, but they actually had to act and do something. And I would have thought by that point that they would have said, we'll see. I'm not getting off of the lazy chair, the good chair in the house, because what, am I going to get up, paint my door only to find that that it doesn't work again? And, it reminds me of, the fact that in our lives, we find ourselves confronted by numerous disappointments. It happens all the time. Our lives, we'd like to think, are blessed, but they're not. As for every success comes a failure. Of course, how it is that we deal with those failures, that's what distinguishes between truly a successful person and not a successful person, is the way that you adjust and adapt to those struggles and failures. Abraham Lincoln, heard of him? Maybe. Not everybody. Some of you just know him as Abe. So Abraham Lincoln, let me tell you about the failures that were in his life. He tried to be in the Illinois state legislature. Not such an enormous challenge, the state legislature, but he lost. He tried to have a business. It failed. He was engaged before meeting Mary Todd. She died. He tried to run for Congress, U.S. Congress, lost. He ran for the Senate, lost. He was pretty much a loser. And then he went on to be one of the greatest presidents our country has ever had. He snatched success out of the hands of disappointment, much in the same way that the Israelites did. There was the story I remember reading. I may not get all the details right because it's been a little while for me, but I remember reading about this guy who was 55 years old. 55. He was in business, a businessman. He was successful, and he decided to change professions. What did he want to be? A lawyer. He went to law school. He graduates law school. Mazel tov. Only problem? Still needs to pass the bar. 14 times he failed the bar exam. 14, and he got it on the 15th time. Can you imagine? The guy is 55 when he changes careers. Goes to law school, finishes law school, graduates, succeeds, and then all through his 60s, he's failing the bar exam until he's in his early 70s and he passes the bar. It's like on the one hand you think, what are you, crazy? And on the other hand, you think to yourself, wow, I admire this man so much. I don't think I could have. I know I couldn't. After 4 bar failures, I think I would have said, you know what? Maybe even 3. I would have probably said, this is clearly not for me. 3 times. That would probably send me a very clear message. 14 times and then takes it the 15th time? Incredible. Incredible. He took a lesson from the Israelites. And what was that lesson? Don't give up. Don't let failure stop you and impede you on your way through this path of life. It happens. Failure makes us the people that we are, not success. Success might make us give, the fame of who we are, but failure makes us the human being that we are. We have it in our lives. Not a single person in here doesn't go through moment after moment, struggle after struggle. And oftentimes when you're in it, it feels like the struggles and failures far outweigh the successes, even though when you take a step back, you realize that's not the case. But when you're in it, it feels like it. And what's the secret? Our tradition tells us. Stay strong. Be strong. If it's what you want, then you keep working at it. And when the time comes that you say, I've given up, then make that your choice, but don't make it the choice of a failure is the reason why you give up. Make it a decision and not a reaction. That our tradition tells us, the Israelites remind us, that we can either pout and get into a depression over our failures, or we can look forward to the possibilities of the future and stay strong. Shabbat Shalom. So our service continues on page 586 with Aleinu. I'd like to invite you to please rise. I am coming. Okay. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol latet gedula liotzer breshit shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu kefol hamonam
ואנחנו
korim umishtachavim umodim
לפני
Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'nemar V'haya Adonai L'melech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu Yeh Adonai Echad
ושמו ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Our tradition is that I will be sharing with you names of loved ones who have passed away. First, I'll share with you the names of loved ones who have passed away recently, and then I will continue by sharing the names of those whose yahrzeits occur on this Shabbat, the anniversary of their passing. Our tradition has become that when I read your loved one's name, if you wish, I invite you to please rise. By doing so, we are able to create a community and see you in your pain. And then that counts for both the recent passing and also for yahrzeits. And then I will invite anyone else who wishes to rise in support, or because it's your tradition to stand, or maybe because you are mourning for someone also and it's just not on our list, and then we'll recite the Kaddish together. So first, let me share names, and again, if you hear your loved one's name and you wish to rise, please feel free to do so when you hear the name. This is Shloshim, the 30 days of intensive mourning. We remember Joe Basso, father of Jill Schechter, Stanley Block, the father of Carly Knott, Paul Mathis, brother of Patricia Sikora, and Gene Sprain, the father of Amanda Sprain. Now we also remember these loved ones whose yahrzeits occur on this Shabbat: Charlotte Fishman, Sue Levitt Goodman, Donald Rosenbaum, Laszlo Farkas, Rachel Fox, Nathaniel Gerson, Helen Zaks, Marty Beer, Sam Blackman, Shirley Friend, Arlene Pickman, Abner Ray Cook, Phyllis Peskin Sarubin, Warren Zerwitz, Selig Keats, Lori Lynn Lebedeff, Alan McCarrow, Muriel Schulman, Hardy Weeder, Manton Gould, Edward Pete Hoffman, Gay Pierce, William Pierce, Gene Schwartz, Siegfried Berger, Edwin Landis, Ruth Lakin, Anita Sue Levin, Eugene Levy, Helen Vera Lipman, Morton Weiner, and Alice Rambo. And so in gratitude for their lives, we invite anyone who wishes to also rise in support, or because it's your tradition, to do so. And we remember them all with the words of our mourner's prayer, which is the Kaddish. It's on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechal beit Yisrael, ba'galau v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'lamei al-maya. Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to every bereaved heart. Amen. Please be seated. Thank you. Our service is almost over. We have just a few more things to do before we conclude. Thank you, by the way, everyone, for being here. Thank you to Brett Morrison for serving as an usher. Thank you to Lisa Hoffman and Marnie Hoffman, and Fran and Luke Kushner, and Barbara and Tom Weeder for sponsoring the Oneg Shabbat, which will be outside in the lobby in just a few minutes. A handful of announcements I do want to share with you. Amelia's bat mitzvah tomorrow at 10 a.m. That's going to be fun. Game night. The Sisterhood is doing game night on Sunday at 6 p.m. Charades, Pictionary, Mahjong maybe, I don't know. My two classes, Torah study on Monday mornings and Sage's class on Tuesday evenings, both are happening this week. Israeli dancing, back by popular request, Wednesday, February 5th at 6:30. We had a blast dancing last week. Come on down and dance with us. Don't worry, trust me. If you're thinking, oh great, but I missed the first one, so I don't know the dances, I forgot all the dances already after the first few days. I remember it when I'm doing it, but that's about it. So please do not worry if you missed one. You can come for the second one. A really great program happening on next Sunday that I want to tell you about, and that is that David Bernstein from the Institute for Liberal Values is coming to our synagogue. But you'll find, if you do some research on David Bernstein, that he is extraordinary, and he is going to be talking about anti-Semitism, and especially anti-Semitism and how it has really been a deep factor from the left, of the woke community, and about how it's kind of, I don't want to say encouraged, but really enabled a new level of anti-Semitism. And it's going to be what his conversation is about. And I've heard him speak before, and I was just blown away by how impressed I was. And so he's in D.C. I said, "You think you'd come and talk here?" He said, sure. And it's going to be something special. So Dave Bernstein next Sunday, I could not more strongly recommend coming and being a part of that conversation. Finally, we have numerous other events, and you can find them all in your weekly email. And if you do not get the weekly email, run, don't walk, run to your cell phone to call up the temple office on Monday morning and ask to make sure that you're on our weekly email list. Okay. I think we are about to just bring our evening to a close, first with Motzi, and then finally with Adon Olam, which is on 600.
62.
No, I think it's 625.
Okay. Well,
I've never.
You're correct. It's 6:25.
6:25. But for now, Amelia and her sisters and her parents come on up and to lead us in Motzi. And then, as I said, Adon Olam afterwards. All right, you ready for this? Oh boy. Hold this. Ta-da! You ready? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Shabbat Shalom.
You familiar with Min Horowitz? Hamotzi lechem Minnie Horowitz? She was the president of the sisterhood for many years here. Here, take some. Minnie Horowitz. Of course she was.
Adon Olam,
We named the
6:25.
song after her. 6:25, Adon Olam. You guys can go back to your seats when you finish.
Adon Olam.
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach.
Asher Malach,
B'terem kol yitzir nivra. Le'et nasa.
Le'et Nasa,
V'chefzo kol.
V'chefso kol
Azai melech shemo nikra.
Acharei kiklotako, levado, yimloch nora, vehu haya, vehu over, vehu yeh b'tikvara. Adon Olam,
Asher Malach.
Asher Malach,
B'terem kol yitzir nivra. Le'et nasa.
Le'et Nasa,
V'chefzo kol.
V'chefso kol
Azai melech shemo nikra. V'hu echad ve'ein sheni. Lehamshil lo. Lehachbira. Beli reshit. Beli tachlit. Belo ha'oz ve'hamizra. Adon Olam.
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach.
Asher Malach,
B'terem kol yitzir nira. Le'et nasa.
Le'et Nasa,
V'chefzo kol.
V'chefso kol
Azai melech shemo nikra. V'hu eli v'chai goali. V'tzur chevli. Be'et tzara. V'hu nisi umanos li. Minat kosi b'yom ekra. Adon Olam.
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach.
Asher Malach,
B'terem kol yitzir nivra. Le'et nasa.
Le'et Nasa,
V'chefzo kol.
V'chefso kol
Azai melech shemo nikra. Beyado avkid ruchi. Be'et ishan. Ve'a'ira. Ve'imruchi. Geviati. Adonai li v'lo ira. Adon Olam.
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach.
Asher Malach,
B'terem kol yitzir nivra. Le'et nasa.
Le'et Nasa,
V'chefzo kol.
V'chefso kol
Azai melech shemo nikra. Azai melech shemo nikra. Azai melech shemo nikra.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you again to Tom, to Chris, to Lou, and to Jess for joining us here. Shabbat Shalom, and join us in the lobby for an Oneg Shabbat. And to those who are watching on Zoom or on our stream, like my Abba and my Ima, like Merv's watching.
Hi, Merv. Shabbat Shalom.
So nice to have you guys. We love you.
Oh, thank you. That is mine.
It was.
All good.
Yeah, it's great. I love that guitar.
The bass is the best instrument.
I love the bass. I mean, you've got a nice instrument, but you don't have the bass.
I have one in my office.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you play like it?
No, not even close.
See. All right. I have this fear that we're gonna play that, bring that up. Laura. All right.
It was one of the earlier pieces when he got that low.
Yes, I heard.
He came up with learning that sentence and said, okay, here's the point.
Chris doubled down and said, really? Try it right now.